BAE Systems was on hand at the recent Surface Navy Association's annual conference with some updated tech germane to one of the Navy's current needs. With U.S. ships deflecting drones and missiles in the Red Sea, the Navy is looking for a more affordable way to shoot down incoming threats. Currently, the best tool for the job is often an expensive munition. That's where BAE wants to offer a solution. We caught up with the company at the SNA Expo to see what they had on display. Have a look.
Tate, we're in front of the Mark 45 Mod 4 that the U.S. Navy is using. Who around the world is using this particular fire system?
Sure. Currently, the United States Navy and 11 of our allied and partner navies use the Mark 45 5-inch gun. Essentially, the sun never sets on the Mark 45.
And it allows for different kinds of munitions.
That's correct. The Mark 45 gun is a multi-mission capability, extremely proficient in air defense. It can defeat anti-ship cruise missiles, unmanned aerial systems like the drones we're seeing in the Red Sea, very effective against other ships, and very effective against long-range land targets.
And that's indirect fire?
That's direct and indirect fire, correct.
Direct and indirect fire. You were a SWO yourself, I believe, in the Mediterranean. What would you use this system for?
Sure. When I was Commodore of our ships in Europe and Africa, I would have very much liked to have this new capability, the hypervelocity projectile, available on all of my ships that were in my tactical command.
And speaking about projectiles, can you show me what we have here?
Sure. The hypervelocity projectile program, the Navy, or to co-develop with the Navy since 2013 as part of the railgun program, developed this projectile, its internal electronics, etc., and we have continued to improve this capability and are currently under contract for a 155 millimeter howitzer version for the Department of Defense Strategic Capabilities Office and the U.S. Air Force to defeat cruise missiles for base defense. That same technology is easily pulled through to fit into the Navy 5-inch gun.
And so a big problem right now, what we're seeing in the Red Sea, is different kinds of threats that aren't huge, that might be a small boat, might be a small, almost like a speedboat, right?
Right.
Even smaller.
Right. What we're seeing in recent activities with the U.S. Navy, as well as the Royal Navy and the French Navy, challenged in the Red Sea, and we've been successful to date against, as you said, a myriad of threats, including unmanned aerial systems, unmanned surface vessels, and cruise missiles being fired in theater. The 5-inch gun in its current version of the 5-inch Mod 4 is very capable against air defense targets. However, what the hypervelocity projectile brings is a maneuvering, precision-guided munition, therefore significantly increasing probability of intercept of a target. Our objective here is effectively one shot, one kill, and we're seeing with testing done to date on the 155 millimeter version, significant performance against threat representative cruise missile targets.
And what we're seeing right now is big munitions for small targets, and there's a lot of small, cheap targets. What does that do in terms of cost?
Oh, right. The Navy's demand signal has been very clear to us that they want greater lethality, greater capacity of that lethal capability, and a reduced cost exchange, meaning cost per engagement. You've seen recently these incidents in the Red Sea in which in some engagements the U.S. Navy and its allies have chosen to use missiles against relatively inexpensive drone targets. That cost exchange is frankly unsustainable for the U.S. Navy, and they are looking for lower cost options with the same or better lethality.
And what about size? I imagine you're able to carry a lot more of these in one ship? Or?
That's correct. When I was captain of a destroyer and commodore of our destroyers in Europe and Africa, I was always thinking, in a future fight, I've only got 96 cells in the vertical launch system on a destroyer. Instead, with the Mark 45 5-inch gun and hypervelocity projectile, a destroyer carries up to 600 rounds, which are easily reloadable at sea. So that deep, almost infinite magazine of this precision-guided munition would have made me feel a lot better when I was in command of a destroyer. And if I were in the Red Sea today, I would feel very comfortable if I had hypervelocity projectile loaded on board.
Well, what did that give you as a commander right now in the Red Sea with all those threats going on? What would be going through your mind if you have this capability?
Sure. The choices available to a commanding officer of a destroyer are the key aspects of Navy tactics are layered defense. And so BAE Systems contributes to literally every layer of layered defense. We are the mechanical design agent for Mark 41, so the missiles at the greatest range, medium range missiles, the 5-inch gun for medium to short range, and some of our 25 and 30 millimeter cannons for extremely close range. Having available a precision guided munition for the ships in the Red Sea would be a game changer, because per shot of every round fired, the fact that it's a guided munition means you can achieve essentially one shot, one kill, and your magazine size is 600 rounds.
Tate, thank you for showing me the small munitions. I hear there are solutions with much bigger munitions behind us for destroyers.
That's correct. Let me show you this way.
This is the adaptable deck launching system?
Correct. This is the adaptable deck launching system. Yeah, when I was commanding officer of a destroyer and later commodore of our ships in Europe and Africa, I was always conscious as we planned for any potential future conflict that each destroyer only has 96 missiles available. If I was the captain today or commodore, I would want to have the adaptable deck launcher shown here in this configuration with up to 8 of these launchers deck mounted, either available to hold the Evolved Sea Sparrow missile or any strike length missile in the Mark 41 family. One thing the Navy is working on today is the ability to reload missiles at sea underway. That is still a challenge. The adaptable deck launcher, shown here with its top open, is easily reloaded at sea from right above with a crane. Its advantage here is that rapidly being able to replace the missile canisters underway at sea will be a great solution for the Navy's challenge of reloading missiles at sea.